Welcome back, folks. So we're moving into the next bathroom here. We've got one kind of all put together up at the front of the home, and so now we're working at the back, and we're just in the process of getting ready for drywall tape, that part of it. So we're of this project. So we're working on getting all of the major mechanical areas done. So which is the kitchen, the hot water tank, and 2 bathrooms. And so next up, we're going to be into this bathroom. So I'm in the main bedroom here, the primary bedroom, master bedroom. And so here we have a walk-in closet over there and an ensuite bath. And so currently this bath is it's a tub shower combination, and we had a toilet here, and we had a little across the corner vanity there, and it was boxed out for a plumbing vent. You can kind of see up there what we had. It was a dinky little mirror here. It was just not a great setup. And then we had sort of a void over here. We have a door here that doesn't know where to swing. It's another one of those deals. If it swings in, it swings against the vanity. If it swings out, it swings into the room. If it swings this way, it swings against the tub. We want to put in a full vanity here, so this is going to come right across instead of that little dinky corner vanity, which leaves you with no storage space. It doesn't give you any counter space to put anything. So we want to put a vanity right along here across the whole end of it. So it's going to basically be like a 5-foot vanity, which is going to give us more counter space. It's going to give us storage, and it'll give us a nice mirror on top. So it's going to make the room look very nice and make it look bigger. And so we're going to want to change this plumbing, because this plumbing is not where the sink is going to be. We're going to relocate the sink over here somewhere. So we're going to have to fix that up, and we're going to have to deal with that pipe that's kind of out in the middle of nowhere here. So I'm going to show you that. We've already installed a bathroom fan in here. This home didn't have any bathroom fans. It's an older home. So that's already been done. And if we put the switches in over here. All right, and so if you're wondering why the switches are on the outside of the room, that's a code thing. If the switches were on the inside, they'd be too close to the shower, or the tub, which means you could potentially, reach over and switch a fan on or switch a light on. So for code, they have to be on the outside. We also changed this window. We lifted it up so it's the same height as everything else. And we had an old light up there. You can see where it was over this vanity. We're gonna do a valance so in here and put some LED recessed lighting on top, just like we did in the other bathroom. So if you missed that video, I'll put a link to it at the end of the video there. So this is all gonna come out. You can see we got quite a lot of mold damage in here. This bathroom had a little flood in it, and so we're gonna have to probably dress the floor. I'm not sure exactly yet. Once I get tearing into here, we'll find out. This toilet flange it's all sound around here, so we may be able to work with this and just put an overlay. We're going to be going to we're going to get rid of the tub and just go with a very nice 4-foot custom tiled shower here with a nice glass door on it. The front bathroom, we put in a tub, a nice deep soaker tub. So if you want to have a nice bath, that's the one you'll go up there to the front to have. Yeah, so let's get at this. First thing, of course, is some demolition. So I want to get rid of this old mildew drywall here. Underneath here, behind the insulation, you can see it's all clean behind the insulation, so we don't have to worry about any mold back in there. It's all in really good shape behind. All right, so it's clean. Up in the attic, when I was doing the fan, the attic space up above here is it's in perfect condition. It's all clean, but this is very wet. It was wet in here, I guess over years of showering and stuff, and it's got moldy, and that's one of the reasons why we've installed a fan although there's a window here, most people don't use them. You know, if it's minus 40 outside and you're having a shower, you don't want to have a window open. So the fan should help alleviate this kind of problem. But that's all coming out. I don't know what we're going to find once we take out the enclosure here, but yeah, let's get going on this. All right, so I've got some major demolition done here. And I'll just show you what this looks like. You know, now that it's apart, it gives you an idea of what's inside of these mobile home walls here. So yeah, this is a 2x3 wall, and then the wall between the bathtub that was here and the closet is just a 2x2. That's all there is. And now you can see we've got that big 3-inch pipe in the corner of the closet here. All right, so I'm going to have to deal with that. And then you see what they've done here is they've rolled it. They've rolled it back into the tub space. So that was inside of the tub cavity, that big pipe there. And this is what the drain looks like. So this is the old tub drain and the overflow and the water supply lines coming up. You can see the P-trap down inside there. Okay, and it goes that way and connects, probably comes back to that pipe underneath there. So I'm going to be underneath the floor. So I'm going to be putting in this is a 5-foot alcove here from wall to wall. And so they were able to make that 5-foot tub work by offsetting that pipe back into the closet there, and and then rolling it in where the tub was. So that was in underneath the tub. If they wouldn't have had the tub there, they could have just gone straight up. And for our application now, that would have been better, because then we would have had that pipe in this room instead of in that room, where space is at a premium in that little walk-in closet there. Anyways, we're going to deal with that. So I'm going to put a 4-foot shower basin here. So I'm going to gain a foot. I'm going to frame it in a foot from the wall that way, so that we walk into the shower this way. Okay, there's the toilet. So that kind of just all sort of flows. And then we'll get rid of that. All of this mechanism here will be inside of this little wall box cavity that we're going to make there. So my next thing to do here, and I'll show you, to get the bathtub out, that whole enclosure. Here it is. This is basically, there's only one way to do that, and that's, with the old Sawzall. So I just went in there and just Sawzalled the enclosure. Here it is. Just cut it up into panels. Just cut it around the top of the tub there, and just hauled it out in 4 pieces. So that's really all you can do to get it out of there, because there's no other way you're going to get it through all these doors and out of here. And then of course our shower base is just going to be it's just a pan that'll sit there. I'm going to have some electrical to deal with here, so I'm going to make some changes here. So I'm going to have to disconnect this electrical. This is going to be a 2x4 wall now, all the way back to here. So that'll give us room to put our new plumbing in for the shower. The plumbing will go on this wall, so we'll get a 2x4 wall there instead of the 2x3, which is going to make that job easier. The drain is going to have to be relocated, because on the shower pan the drain comes in the middle of the pan. So we got a 4-foot pan, which means 2 feet from the wall is where this is going to have to be relocated to. The new showers, modern code for the new showers, is a 2-inch drain. So all of your drain plumbing for your shower is 2-inch, and the old plumbing here for this tub is 1.5 inches. So we're going to have to make a transition. That's going to be done underneath in the crawl space. So yeah, we're going to have to do some work from underneath on this. There's no way around it. So I'm going to tear up this piece of lino here. Going to take that wall out. Probably I'm going to demolish all of this here. I'm going to scrape the old popcorn ceiling off of the ceiling here, and just carry on with getting ready to start putting new work in here. All right, so I'll just give you a bit of a little progress report here, folks. So I've torn out this wall here, and I'm working on that. I've got all the old smelly drywall out. Here it is. Here you can see we got quite a mess, and I'm starting to, I got everything cleaned up, and I'm starting to put stuff back together now. So what I'm doing here now is I'm putting the drywall on the outside wall there. Okay, now I'm not going that way. I'm just going to the wall there. You can see where the wall is going to come down. I'll take care of that when I fix up the rest of that wall there. So I'm just concentrating on the bathroom here right now. So that's why I've stopped there. And what I've done is I got rid of all the old vapor barrier. The old vapor barrier underneath was quite torn up, and it was only, I think it was only 2, maybe 4 mil. I'm not sure. Very, very thin. Anyways, I've taken that off and I've cleaned up everything around here, and I put a 6 mil poly vapor barrier on now. So 6 mil is code for where we are, and so I've put the vapor barrier underneath that wall there, and I put drywall on top of it. And this just kind of shows you how I seal the vapor barrier. Now, folks, this is not, if you were doing new construction, this is only kind of part way there. We're doing a reno here, and we have to work with what we have here. But basically, you want to try and make that as airtight as you can, so that the warm, moist air doesn't go into the insulation from the room. And so you can see where I've put a bead of that acoustical sealant along the top, and then around my window opening, I just put it onto the framing, and then I smush the 6 mil into it. Vapor barrier. And then again, wherever you have a join in your plastic, so I came around the corner with the plastic, and then I put this piece on here, and then where the two overlap, I've just run a bead, so basically gluing them together with that acoustical sealant. And then you can see I've got a bead along the floor there, which seals the vapor barrier to the floor, and it also seals that crack along where the sill plate meets the floor. So any air that would go back and forth underneath the sill plate is stopped by that bead of acoustical sealant there. And then on the outside of that, we have the house wrap, which is overlapping that. And then here I've joined, come to the where the vapor barrier comes from the closet wall to here. And again, I'm just kind of patching it together here, but you can see where I've glued them together there with the acoustical sealant. So basically what I'm doing here now is I'm just going to go ahead and get the drywall on the outside walls, and then I will start to do my layout and my framing. And so I'm just going to go ahead and get this finished, and then I'll bring you back. Alright folks, so I'm moving along here, and I'm going to show you where I'm at so far. So I'm framing here. I'm getting the walls framed in. And so I've framed out an opening here. This is going to be a pocket door. So that's going to go in there. That 2x4 on the floor here is just temporary. I'm framing in the alcove for my shower. So I'm going with a 32-inch wide shower by 48 inches long, and it's going to have a center drain at the back. I had a shower base here that I was going to put in, but I didn't like it, so I took it back and ordered one. So another one of those supply chain things. Hopefully it'll get here sooner than later, and but it's not holding me up right now. I can carry on. So you can see what I've done here to deal with the pipe, that big pipe there. There it is back there. So in order to make this space fit my 4-foot shower, I just framed out and brought this little wall out like this. So this will all get tile backer on it eventually. So you can see how I've done that. And the toilet now is going to be fine. It's where it was. I'm not going to move it. I've worked on the floor here. I've got it sort of leveled out. It was a bit warped from a flood that they had back in here. And now this is how I'm dealing with this pipe over here, this one in the corner. So as I mentioned to you before, they had a vanity that went across the corner here, and you walked up to the sink, and that's the way it was. I'm wanting to go with a full width vanity here, and then I'll have a mirror up above it, so that it will make the room look bigger that way. So the way I've laid this out now I'm going to have a 30-inch sink cabinet here, so the center of my sink's going to be, it's going to be offset. So the center of the sink's going to be here, and then I'm going to have a 12-inch bank of drawers beside that, and then a 12-inch cabinet. So I'll just have a door on the bottom and a drawer on the top, drawer on the top of here, and then 2 deep drawers, and then the sink cabinet. And so what that will do on the counter is it will have, the sink will be, center of the sink will be right here, and then that will give you room over there to set things. You know, and then we've got the GFI up here to plug in your curling iron and hair dryer and whatnot. So this wall is it's an insulated wall, and but you know, it still can get cold. Probably not cold enough to freeze pipes in there. You know, this is another hose bib that we're doing, the same as the one I showed you in that front bathroom. So this is going outside. This is a frost freeze, so the valve is actually back here where it's warm in the room, and so when you shut this frost free off, it drains the water out. Now in the other bathroom, you know, I brought the supply lines up in the wall. I moved them from the floor to the wall. Here they came up over here before and then drained into this corner drain here. I'm using 2x3 studs here instead of 2x4, and the reason that I have that is, you know, I want to have circulation back in behind there. You know, this is going to get drywall on top of it, no insulation. I'm just going to, you know, got insulated wall back here, but I'm afraid to put my water pipes in there and then bring them out the back of the cabinet. Just because, you know, once everything gets closed, it could possibly, you know, it could possibly get cold enough to freeze in there. It probably wouldn't, but I'm not going to take any chances. So here I'm coming up to the floor of the vanity. The drain, I need to get the drain over here because I can't run the drain there through there and then through a bank of drawers. That's not going to work. So I'm going to relocate the drain to bring the drain out underneath the sink here. And I will put that in the wall because, you know, there's no standing water in the drain, you know, and it's not that the drain's not going to freeze in the wall. I'm not concerned about that at all. But when you have, you know, water under pressure in a pipe in a wall, outside a wall, there's a possibility that it could freeze. So what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to have to cut. I've got the drain and I've got a clean out here. And so I can't, you know, I can't leave it like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this 1.5 inch pipe just below the clean out there, and then up here as well. And then I'm going to turn it. I'm going to turn it to go into the wall, so it will go into the wall and then come back out, over here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll just rejoin it with these couplers. So, you know, this will just get glued back in there like that. Once I get that pipe swung around, then I'll finish the studs in here. So this is my heat register. Okay, so the heat register, you know, came up in the floor before. There was nothing here in the original design. Again, the sink was over here. So what I'm going to do with this is the heat is going to come under the vanity, and I'm going to use under the base of the vanity as a duct, and then I'll cut an opening in the toe kick of the vanity, and the air will blow out across the floor, which is actually a pretty nice thing to do in the bathroom. Actually, I've done that quite a bit, and then your heat blows across the floor instead of up into the air. All right, so that's how this little room is coming along. And so we've got a 2x4 wall here now instead of the 2x3, and so that's going to give us room to, you know, put our pocket door in. We need to have a full 2x4 wall in order to do that. And so I went with 2x4 up to this closet wall, and this is where the plumbing now is going to go in for my shower, is in between these two studs. So now you know, with the 2x4 wall, I've got thickness to get the valve in there, no problem. Between the bathroom and the closet, the walk-in closet, I put a 2x3 wall in there. Okay, that's all we need. And I just do that to save space. You know, in these it gets pretty tight, and you know, a couple inches makes a big difference here and there. So here I've addressed the electrical. I didn't have to disconnect any of the electrical in here. So, you know, I've done this completely without an electrician or taking anything apart. So I've just, you know, just kind of moved things around. I'm going to be cutting a notch in here for this wire. So, and I'm going to use these metal things to protect the wire, just like you can see right here they did in this original stud. Okay, and I've changed this opening here into this walk-in closet. So now I've got a full width a 2-foot door. It's still a 2x3 wall, so I'm still going to have to rip my jamb down, but that's a simple job. Where it gets hard is when you have to start changing the width of a door. It's you know, to modify it for an off-sized width. The thickness is quite easy actually. Okay, and so that's going to be a 2-foot door on here, a swinging door that's going to swing out into the room like this. Okay, and then our sliding door over there. Before our light switcher was jammed right up against the door, so we didn't have room for trim. The trim, you know, would have come over onto this light switch, and so now, you know, now we've got room for trim. I also have moved this before. This this was the only stud in here. I've added this stud, so now I have 3 inches here again. So now I've got room, you know, for my trim to go on there and not be jammed up against the wall. And you know, that's really simple to do at this stage. That's all I've done there. Okay, so that's ready for drywall. Now I've cleaned up this little closet, so I've redone this this pipe chase here, and so you can see there's the pipe in there. And so, you know, the way it was before, it was kind of everything was kind of out of whack and off, you know, nothing lined up. So now I've laid it on my floor there. I've got, I'll be putting 16-inch and 12-inch shelves, and so now it's going to work quite nicely in with that little chaseway. My plan is to, on this side, I've got about 4 feet here, between here and here, so I'm going to be putting 2 rods, you know, for shirts and skirts and things like that, pants. And then on this wall, I'll be putting up just 1 rod higher, so that you got room for, you know, higher things like dresses and the bathrobes and things like that, you know, with some built-in shelving up above. So you know, from what it was to what it will be, we're going to increase the rod capacity quite a bit, and it's going to be quite a bit more shelving space as well. That wall is been moved over. I don't know if you can see it, but on the ceiling you can see that's where the old wall went, right there. Okay, and so I've moved it over roughly 6 inches. Okay, there was room in the bathroom to do that. So, you know, this everything here is pushed 6 inches this way, but you know, we still have lots of room here. So, you know, we've got lots of room around the toilet. You know, the front of the vanity is going to be over here, so you can see, you know, lots of room in here, so no problem with that. And those extra few inches in that walk-in closet kind of made it a real walk-in closet. Before it wasn't really a real walk-in closet, but now we've got it. You know, decent door, no problems with trim and electrical and all that. So yeah, that's ready to throw some drywall on it now. So yeah, I'm gonna do the drywall in that room, and then I'm gonna change this pipe. So yeah, stay tuned, folks. All right, folks, so I've taken care of this drain here, and so you want to make sure you have it on a slope. And for this pipe, the 1.5 inch, they recommend that you have at least 1/4 inch per foot, and so I'm a little bit more than that, which is okay. So, which means for every foot you move, it drops 1/4 inch. So I probably got more like 1/2 inch of drop per foot there. And so now I can go ahead and frame this wall, put the other 2 studs in there. I'm going to have to notch out for the pipe. You can see how, you know, how the pipe will come into the studs here. I just used a piece of this, it's called all round, that plumbers use to fasten things. So that's fastened on there solid. And this piece here, I'm going to leave it loose because it makes it much easier to put the cabinet in, and then put this in when I eventually get to hooking up the sink. And so this is a test cap. I'm not testing this, but normally these would get glued on and then they would fill with water and test it to make sure it doesn't leak, but I'm not going to do that here. And I've left it loose, and I've marked it loose so that I don't forget when I get back to here that joint has not been glued, because it will leak. All right, and so I just cut out, there was a bit of a stub sticking out here, and it was actually was going the wrong way, so that's why I cut it back here and installed this coupler to mate it up with the old one. So there you can see the coupler there, and the coupler at the bottom that I installed, and I just turned this. Now when I put my drywall on, I will cut a little hole out and leave access to this clean out. This is a clean out here, and eventually when I put the cabinet in, then I will put a access panel in the back of the cabinet, so that if they have to, ever have to get in there to clean it out, they can. All right, so yeah, not much to that. It's just basically how we do that. All right, so I'm going to frame this wall now, finish that, and you can see I've got some holes cut in the floor here. I'm going to start working on the plumbing, getting my supply lines run in. And so I've just got my shower handle set here, my tap set, just to position it. And so it's the same with the shower head up there. And so I'm going to have to pull this off here and then solder in the copper and the connections to the PEX. PEX is going to go down into the floor. Okay, and then you can see here where the old poly B. So this is the old poly B coming from the other end. Now I've already got it cut at the other end there, so I'm going to pull this out. But they put in a T here for the old bathtub that was here. Okay, and then the lines carried on underneath the floor over to here. You can see where this line went over to the sink. The other one is in there somewhere, hot and cold. So this would be the hot. Yeah, this is the hot, and here's the cold. And so the cold went over into the sink, which was in the corner, and came up that hole there. And so this here is the T that came up for the toilet. So I think I'm probably gonna have to cut another little hole there to get that up. You can see I've got this big 3-inch pipe. That's the 3-inch pipe from the toilet flange here, going this way to that big stack we have in the corner over there. Joins up with that. So I can't get underneath there, and I got this joist here, so I'm kind of in a tight spot here. So I'll just have to cut on the other side of this floor joist here, so that I can get in there to pull the pipe up through. Just not quite enough room to do all that the way it stands here. All right, so yeah, I'm going to carry on with the framing here and get that framed out, get that drywalled. But you can see now how we've got the space here. The pipe's not touching the wall, so air can circulate around it. And this is good. I'm comfortable with that. Our hose bib is going to be inside of the cabinet, so where it shuts off right here. So this space will be in this cavity, but on behind here it's all insulated, so shouldn't have any problems with freezing there. All right, I'm just going to give you another look at this before I put the drywall in now. So this is going to get rid of that pipe that was a problem before. It was in the room, so now it's going to be in this little cavity that we've constructed here, and it will be out of sight. And that's going to give us a nice, straight wall here to mount our mirror on. And so all I did was I just notched these studs, because it's not enough room there for the stud without doing that. Okay, so you can just see what I've done there. And I just put another piece of this strapping on here. I think in the last clip, I think I called it all thread. It's all round. So this is a product here. And yeah, it just comes in a roll, and you just cut off as much as you need. So I just put that there just to make sure that that pipe there doesn't drop into the floor We had the problem with that over where the washer was when we did the laundry room over there, and where the we also saw that in that last bathroom where the tub drain, had dropped, and then it lost its drainage, the slope for the drainage. So that will just sort of help to keep it all up there. And so yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and drywall this wall. All right, so now I'm working on the shower valve set, and so the brass part here is the valve body itself. Okay, so I've pulled the cartridge out. The cartridge goes in here, so this is all plastic and rubber, so I don't want that in there for soldering, because I don't want to melt it. So I've pulled that out, and I've just built up with the copper pipe, and this is my hot on the left and cold on the right, so I just put them, the way I do it is I put them 8 inches on center apart, and then so this is going to feed up to the shower head. So this is a bit simpler than the bathtub one, where you have the bathtub spout coming off and you have the diverter and all that inside. So I've just gone ahead, so I cut my pieces, my fittings, I've cleaned everything and fluxed it, so this is all ready to go. Again, if you don't want to solder, you don't have to solder. You can get a fitting that just screws onto the pipe here, and then that is PEX. So it's PEX, and then it's a female 3/4 inch up here, and it just screws on, and we just use Teflon and pipe dope if you want, and then just go with PEX. But I like to do it this way because it makes the whole thing a bit more rigid. And so I do my it's called a sweat adapter here from my copper, so that's where I transition to my PEX then, going down, and then the PEX will go up to the shower head as well. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and solder this now. Alright folks, I'll give you an update on the plumbing here. So I've got the shower set is all installed now, so I've crimped those rings and run it up to the shower spout. And so a shower set is quite a bit more simple than the tub set that we did in the last video. You don't have the tub spout and the diverter and all that, so this is really simple compared to that. So this is roughed in. I've tested it, everything, it doesn't leak. But I'll just show you before I close up the floor here. So down here you can see where we had 1/2 inch. The old Poly B was 1/2 inch, and so I pulled in the 3/4 main runs. So those main runs I pulled under the floor back to this place here, where you can see I connected to them down here. Okay, so there's my hot and cold main to go to the back bathroom, and those are connected into this utility area here. So basically this is our main hot line that goes down into the crawl space, and then the other one over here is our main cold. So that's the main cold going out, and so from here it goes to the back and to the front bathroom. All right, so that's and then the main coming in. So our plumbing is all done now, as far as the changing out from the Poly B to the PEX, and so now I can go ahead and repair these floors. So in here, you can see where I've transitioned then to the from the 3/4 inch to the 1/2 inch to once I'm into the bathroom here. So here you can just see I used a T to tee in for my hot and cold for the shower set. Okay, and then I have the hot over here that runs over to under the floor, over to the hot there where the sink is going to be. Likewise with the cold. So we've got the cold. This is the cold that goes over to the sink, which is over there. And then the white line you see there, okay, goes under the floor and comes through here and up. And so in a previous clip there, I told you I thought I might have to cut a hole in the floor there in order to pull that up, which I didn't have to do. I was, that's the nice thing about PEX. It's fairly flexible, and you can bend it in and around. So in there I've got a 90-degree fitting in behind that joist there. So that's a 90-degree fitting, and then it just kind of curves around over to this place here and tees in over here. Okay, and you strap it as much as you can to to hold it solid. So I've clamped it to this piece of wood down here, put this block in here, and use these plastic clamps that just nail on to just to hold it in place. All right, so I'll give you a close-up look at this finished here. And so here I've used the copper clamps to clamp it to this piece of wood, so it's really solid. Okay, now something you have to be careful about, folks, when you're plumbing with copper, you don't want to use like a steel clamp on here. You have to have the same material, so copper and copper. If you were to use a steel clamp on here, or a piece of that, I showed you another video that we have that, it's called all around, which is that strapping that has holes in it. That's available in copper as well, but I showed you some steel there. And if you use the steel on the copper, what will happen over time is, because you have dissimilar metals, you will get what's called galvanic corrosion, and it will start to eat it'll eat the copper, and you'll actually your metal clamp will eat a hole in your copper pipe. But as long as you have all copper, it's not a problem. Okay, so you're not going to get that. Of course, the silver that you see here is a silver solder, so that's not a problem. That's all compatible. And so then over here, I just put a block in between the floor joists, screwed it in, and you can see how I've clamped that there, to try and keep things straight. So, this doesn't look straight, but by the time, I install the cabinet, it'll come up through the cabinet, which is the floor of the cabinet's about 4 inches higher than the floor. So, it will start to help to hold this all straight. Plus, once I get the valves and stuff in, when it's finished up, it'll start to, everything will start to, these little risers will start to be straight. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but there's, I cut the hole in there for that clean out. And when I install that cabinet, I'll make an access panel in the back, so that we'll have access to that clean out there. And same with this riser here. Once we get the underlayment down and the ceramic tile and everything, this will start to we'll get this. It'll stick straight up there. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and fix these, patch these floors where the floor is here, and put my underlayment down, and then I'll get into this pocket door here. I still don't have my shower base, so I'm not sure if I showed you that other base or not. I had a base that was here, and it's pretty limited availability on bases, and so I took what was available, brought it here, took it out of the box, and I didn't like it, so I took it back, and I've ordered one. It's been on order for a couple weeks now, so I'm not sure when that's going to happen, but once I get that, it's going to be a center drain. It's going to be a center drain on the back wall there, is the one that I've picked. It's a concealed drain. So I'll be cutting a hole in there and then relocating that drain there, which was connected to the tub. I'll have to move that back. So everything here is going from, from here it goes to that pipe. So everything connects to that big pipe down there. All right, so I know that pipe is going to be right underneath there. So when I cut that hole for the drain for the new shower base, that pipe should be right there. And it should be just an easy matter then of just going underneath and connecting it. But I might have to save that for another video, because I'm not sure if I'm going to get it, in time for this video. And then here again, you can see this toilet flange here. That pipe. Again, everything is heading back towards that main 3-inch pipe there, and then from there it goes down into crawl space and it goes out to the sewer. Likewise with that pipe. That pipe is going from there and connecting into that 3-inch pipe over there. We can't see it here because it's in behind that joist. It's in that space between the joist and the wall there. All right, folks, so I have all my holes in my floor patched. Okay, so that's all done. Ready to put the underlayment on top. And so next thing up now is I'm going to install my pocket door frame into that opening there. So this is all done. This is all framed. You can see from this side how my wiring turned out. Okay. And so again, what I did here, let's just give you a close-up on this. You know, I didn't disconnect anything as far as the wires go. So if you're not comfortable with electrical, you know, this is a way that you can do it. Is, you know, just notch your stud and then put your wire back in. And so, like I said before, you know, they had these little pipes here, because you can see here how close the wire is. This is a 2x3, right? And so you can see how close the wire is. So that pipe in there protects the wire from nails. So, you know, I've maintained the pipe there and just glued it in. Okay, so that's in there solid. Here, that's far enough back in. This is a 2x4. So, you know, we're back in the center of the stud there, so that's safe. But here, you know, it was there, so I used it. Okay, and yeah, up at the top, you know, I just left that 2x3 top plate in up there, and just framed everything flush on the bedroom side, you know, so that I would have everything flush on this side. Okay, in this room here. And the extra width of the 2x4, I've put it into the bathroom. All right, so you can see what I've done there with the studs. I just let them stick past. All right, so now I just drywall, just go up there and meet the ceiling. And then of course over here, you know, I've kept the 2x3 wall. And there's, you know, that's what I did there to deal with this little wire there, because I moved that opening over a little bit, you know, to get my room for trim over there, and also room to put in a standard width door here. I had to move this stud over. And so, you know, there's the stud up there, or sorry, the wire up there. I just notched the top of this a little bit so that it would go up in there. And, you know, this one here worked out okay. You know, I'm just got to be careful there that, you know, I don't get too close when I nail the drywall on. I'll mark it on the ceiling to show me where that wire is. And same thing here, you can see those are the original wires, how it went up in there. And you can see how close it is to the, you know, to this side over here, right? But again, there's that pipes in there. So, you know, if nails going in this way or screws are going to be stopped by that pipe that's inside there. And we actually have a pipe inside there too, but this one I have to be a little bit careful about. Actually there too, I mean, because it's just close. So all I'll do is I'll just mark that place on the ceiling, and then when I screw my drywall on, I'll just, you know, just avoid that area there, just to be on the safe side. All right, so there's different ways you can do pocket doors, and I buy these are knockdown frames, okay, like this, and some places in the past I have bought the whole frame completely assembled, ready to go, just set in there. But this, you know, these days, this is how it comes around here. It comes in this box, and you know, I'll just give you a close up here. So this is from a company called Alexandria Molding, and so this is adjustable, so you can make it, you know, whatever width that you want. And so I'll just open up this box now and get the pieces out and start putting it together. Just another little puzzle here to put together. All right, so here's the frame all out of the package. And I've got it laying on the floor here, so I'm just going to assemble it on the floor. And so what you have to do is you have to cut the top part to match your door, because this is adjustable. It covers all the way up to 36-inch doors. So I'm going to do a 2'6" door in here, a 30-inch door, and so I have cut it at 30 inches. And then you have to have a split stud for the door to slide back in. So that's what this is. And you can see it's very well done. You know, these are on hinges, and so it comes in a package like that. So you just unfold the hinge like this. All right, and then you slide this part apart. These things slide here, okay? So you can see how they slide apart, so that it adjusts to the width of the door that you have. And then this is the back stud here, okay, which will connect these pieces to that, you know, back together here. So they've got it all marked out for you. It's all pre-drilled. Here's a bumper for the door to slide back against. You can see these are pre-drilled. Again, you know, these are on this hinge. Okay, so all you do is just unfold it and down it comes. And then this is the piece of jamb on the catch side. And you know, it's all you know, it's all set. So all you have to do is just nail it together. This just comes up in here like this, and we'll just fit right in there and just nail in there like that. Very simple. So they have you know, a whole little bag of hardware here, which includes screws and whatnot. These are the rollers that will get mounted onto the door, and so the door will slide on the aluminum track there. But those don't go on until you put the door on. But you know, they have a very detailed set of instructions there. You know, it's very easy to do, folks. I mean, this is not hard to do. If you can put together IKEA furniture or any of that kind of furniture, you know, where you have to do some assembly as required, you can put together a pocket door frame, you know, following the instructions. And, you know, literally everything is here. Where it gets a bit tricky is when we install the frame into our opening, and I'll be showing you that. So I'm just going to go ahead now and you know, just get this all screwed together, and then I'll take you through the next process there of actually installing it in the opening. And there's our frame all pre-assembled, laying on the floor. So now I just simply have to lift it up into the opening, and you know, and then just secure it to the opening. That's all there is to it. So I'll show you once I get it sitting up in the opening, then how we kind of go about getting it all squared up and leveled in there. Okay, so I've got my pocket door frame set in there, and not much to show you on how to install this one, because this I'm pretty lucky here, because my floor is level and everything's pretty lined up in here. It's working out well for me here. So, but basically, when you install these pocket doors, a lot of people hate pocket doors because they don't run smoothly, or they bind, they stick. You know, there's all kinds of reasons that people don't like pocket doors, and it's usually because, you know, whoever installed it didn't take the time to you know, pay attention to some of the little details. So when you install a pocket door, you have your rail up in there. So this is the rail where the door is going to slide on the rollers, and then you have this jamb here, the split jamb. So the split jamb is split so the door can slide back inside of there. So what you want to do is, the way you start at installing this is, you need to make sure that your track is level. As long as your track is level, you're going to alleviate a lot of problems, okay, with the door, with the operation of the door. So we want to make sure that our track is level. And then the second thing we want to do is we want to make sure that our split jamb is plumb, okay, straight up and down. If your track is leaning one way or the other, you're going to have problems. And if this is not, your split jamb is not plumb, straight up and down, and not square, that's going to create problems for you as well. So with this one, you know, I was lucky. I just set the frame right on the floor. Okay, just you know, it's just attached to the floor down there. You can see I've got some screws there. There's these little brackets that hold the framing apart. My floor is level. Now, if the track is not level, then what you have to do is you have to play around down here with shims. I didn't have to put any shims in. Again, my floor is level this way. If your floor is off, then you're going to have to put shims. Now, the shims that we use are these little cedar shims, okay? And so you buy them in these little shim packs, and you know, it's just a little pack of cedar shims. It's what you use for installing doors and whatnot. And these shims are, you can see they're tapered, all right? And so, you know, by sliding the shim under, you know, under here, or at the other end, you can get it. You can move it. You can move it like this, and you can straighten your track to get it level. Okay, so if your track is hanging low on this end, that means it's got to go up on that end. So what you would do is you would take this shim and you'd slide it underneath back here, and so it would lift it up. Okay. And once you get the track determined where it's level, then you secure it. Okay, and you can see I've secured it there with a screw there. That's just temporary. This one over here is permanent. All right. Then what you have to do is you put your level on and you make this plumb. Okay, this way. And so if you have to make an adjustment for this way, then you'd have to either put a shim there or put a shim there. So I'm pretty lucky here. My wall, on my outside wall where I'm attaching this, now I've got a, normally you would put a 2x4 in there, but because I'm confined for space here, I've eliminated that 2x4, and I'm screwing this back piece here right to a stud that's in the outside wall. That outside wall is plumb this way. So like I say, I got very, very lucky there. But again, I have to slide shims in there or down at the bottom to move that wall this way or this way to get my split jamb straight up and down. All right. Once you have that set, then you just basically the rest of it then is you just shim everything else to that header track piece and this split jamb. Okay. So then you just would have to shim it until it's straight. Okay, this other thing is just has to be straight. Okay, and then this jamb here on this side here is just temporarily. So I've just put it temporarily there. I've made the measurement. It's 30 1/8. This is set up to put a 30-inch door in there, so they give you 1/8 of an inch in order to get the door in. And then later there's going to be some trim and stuff that goes on here when we get to finishing. So this is just here temporarily for now, and when we get to the finishing and actually hang this door, then you hang the door and then you shim that jamb accordingly. Okay, so that's way down the road. So some of you may be here thinking I'm going to do this bathroom from start to finish in a couple of videos. That's not going to happen. This is a big project here, and this is part of the process. Is we're getting ready for drywall and taping here right now. And then, we're going to be doing all that drywall and taping work, and then we'll be coming back at a later time to do the finishing. So, a few months down the road, we'll be back here actually hanging these doors. So, if you're interested in seeing it from, completely from the beginning to the end, you're going to have to stick around and wait for that video to come, when we do the tiling and everything. But, so this is in now, and here you can see I just, again, I've just put these little shims. This is how they work. They just kind of slide in there. You put them with the thin to thick, and you just slide them until you get the measurement that you want. Okay. And I've done the same thing down here. All right. And then once that's done, hang on. Okay. Once that's done, then you just have to trim those shims off. And I just use my little oscillating saw here to go in and trim them close. So just like that. And now when I put my drywall on, it's not going to interfere with my drywall. Okay, so that's it for that pocket door. That's all I can do with it for now. And you can see I put some screws in here to hold the slider apart in position until I get the drywall on. Once the drywall goes on, it's going to hold everything together. But whatever you do, whatever screws you use here are your drywall screws. You need to make sure you don't have any screws sticking inside of this cavity. Otherwise, when your door goes through, it's going to scratch your door. Okay, so these were a little bit long, And I don't know if you can see it, but I cut them off and I just took a file and make sure everything is smooth. Trust me, folks, ask me how I know. You know, I have mistakenly got a long screw and put it in there and had that thing scratch the door when I'm all done. And once you got drywall on this, it's all taped. Pretty tough to get back in there and correct it. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do here now before I get into my drywall is I'm going to go ahead and get my Sureply underlay plywood down on here. Get this floor cleaned up. All right, folks, I'm a little further along here. We've got the drywall on the inside of this room now. And where I haven't done the drywall here, it's going to get the tile backer. So I can't put the tile backer in until I get my base. And so far I don't have my base. So I've just framed up. I'm going to do a little bit of a valance or a bulkhead, whatever you want to call it here, just to give us ceiling a little bit more interest. And it's going to be a place where I can install a recessed light. So that's all I've done here. It's just you know, framed it out. I just you know, you can do it however deep you want. I decided to go with the 2x6, so I'm 5.5 inches. By the time I put the 1/2 inch drywall on the bottom, it's going to be a 6-inch drop. And I've just lined up the front edge of this even with the front edge of my vanity. So that black line on the floor there is going to be the right there is going to be the edge of my counter, all right, for the vanity. And so I've just got this lining up with that, all right. And I've got the wires up there for the recessed pot light, and I'll show you, last time I did that I didn't really show you in detail how I did it, but I'll show you just how easy this goes in, this recessed lights that I use here. All right, so that wire is there, it's prepped. That wire is connected to the switch for the light, which is out here, all right. So when you switch the room light on, they're both going to switch together. Okay, so yeah, I'll go ahead and cut the drywall now and get that drywalled. All right, folks, so I've got my little bulkhead there all drywalled out. I'm ready to install that recessed light now. And I'm just going to show you how easy this is. It's amazing how these little pot lights work these days. So the light that I'm going to use is this it's a disc light. It's an LED light. And this is the whole package right here. This is the whole light right here. And it comes in this package. So this is what I purchased. It's the brand I'm using here is a Baz. So it's an integrated LED light, 750 lumens. And there's 4 of them. You buy them in this little case of 4, and you get 4 lamps in here, suitable for wet locations. So it's good for in the bathroom, indoor, outdoor. You can put them in an insulated ceiling. If you know much about pot lights at all in the past, you know, to install a pot light, especially in an insulated ceiling, was a big job. I mean, you had to put this big can and you know, insulation around it, and it was a big job. This is it. We've got this little disc here and a module, and so the way this works, this plugs in here together. We can unplug that, but this is the fixture itself right here. And this piece of cardboard is like, just imagine that piece of cardboard is the drywall. And the way this works is these clips, these little spring clips on here, you put them up like this and you put it through the hole. And then when you, once it's through the hole, they snap back on the back side of the drywall. And that's it. Again, you know, you don't need much space. You can actually put these, they're so thin that you can actually put them like on a joist or a rafter. You don't have to, you know, relocate your LED light, you know, to avoid a rafter, which in the old days we had to do that. Sometimes you don't want to do that because you're trying to put your light on a center of a cabinet door or whatever. And if you have that rafter in a way, then you have to offset it. This way, it will fit right underneath a rafter or a floor joist, and you know, because of the thinness of it, it's only the thickness of the drywall. So I'll get it out of here and I'll show it to you, but it's very thin. And so then all you do is you just wire in this module. Okay, it's your connections are inside of the module here. Okay, the wire connections. So right here, All right, so with that wire that I have wrapped up inside the box up there is going to get connected to these, okay? And then this just connects to this. And so if you ever have a module fail on you, have a light fail on you, you just have to unhook this, unplug it, and plug in a new one. This is very simple. It just snaps out. Okay, so I've got my drywalled up here. And so now I've marked the center of my bulkhead. I'm going to center, you know, this way and that way. And I'm using, this is what I'm going to use to drill a hole. Now, if you don't have a hole saw, these are kind of expensive to buy, these hole saws. You can just make a hole, you know, cut it with a drywall saw. That's no problem. But I have these, so I'm going to use this. And this particular light calls for a 4 1/4 inch hole. You know, whatever light you end up with, you know, follow the instructions for it. But I'm just going to put my, I can't see it there, so I have to get my ladder. Right, so I just put my pilot bit there on my center mark. All right, get it lined up there. Okay, there it is. And I'm just going to drill my hole now. Okay, and there's my wire up there. So now I just have to pull the wire through and hook it up to my module. Pull the wire through, hook it up to my module, and snap my light in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay folks, so I've got this connected. So I've just pulled my wire down from the top through that hole and made my connections here. I had to put this little clamp on, so I just used a plastic clamp. Okay, and made my connections here, you know, black to black, white to white, ground to ground. Very simple. I mean, anybody can do this. You just have to make sure that you get a tight connection with your wire nut. And so this is what we would call this a junction box. And so anytime you have a junction box, it has to be accessible. And so the way this works is although it's going to be up inside of there, it will remain accessible because you can always pull out the fixture. So here you can see, here's the fixture, all right? And so it's connected to the box, okay? And then this is actually just a plug in here. I've got it plugged in. But you can see how thin this is. See how thin this is? It's not even the depth of the drywall. And so now all I have to do is take this little module and wire and push this all back up inside the hole. I'm gonna have to do this with one hand here. Okay. All right. So that is our accessible junction box now. It's up inside there. And now all we have to do is push this up into the hole. All right. And then, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this with one hand or not, but all I have to do is just lift these little clips up. Okay, you can see how they're going to go up inside the drywall. So I'm going to have to put the camera down in order to do that, and it just snaps up inside there. So I'll put the camera down. Okay, so it's kind of like a mouse trap. It kind of springs on you. So I've got it up inside there, and so you can see the other spring is up in there. And so here, this spring is ready to go. So it's just going to pop up in there now, just like that. All right, and it's in. It's amazing. It's so easy. Again, it's very DIY friendly. Anybody can do that. And it saves you a pile of money over the way we used to do those. I mean, when we used to do pot lights with the cans and everything, we would charge people like $500 to put a recessed light in. So there we go. That's the lighting in this. Eventually we'll get a light fixture once the ceiling is done. Okay, folks, so I'm going to wrap up this video. That's pretty much as far as I can go in this bathroom now. We've got the flooring. The floor has all been repaired here, and we've got our U-lay down. We're ready for ceramic tile. So what we've done, we took that old bathtub out of there. I still don't have my shower base. I've been waiting for that for 3 weeks. It's still not here. It was supposed to be here between Christmas and New Year's. and it's, you know, we're middle of January and it's still not here. So once the shower base comes in, I'll do another video on the shower base, how I you know, install a drain for that. It's how I set the base, how I do the drain, and you know, and the tile backer. So I'll do a video on that when I eventually get it. So this little room, you know, is come together quite nicely from what it was. We fixed a little bit around the toilet flange there. That toilet flange now is solid. We got all brand new PEX plumbing in here. You know, we're going to have a nice vanity here now with sink. We're going to have a 30-inch sink cabinet, and then we're going to have a 12-inch bank of drawers, and then a 12-inch cabinet beside it. So we're going to have a counter from wall to wall here then, with the sink a little bit offset. And we're offsetting it because of the toilet. So we don't want to have if we were in the center of the cabinet, we'd be kind of conflicting with the toilet. But we've got lots of room on either side of the toilet, you know, well within our specs here. I'm kind of making this bathroom a little bit ADA compliant. I've got the wider door in here just in case, you know, somebody ended up here in this bedroom that needed an ADA compliant bathroom. This one is going to do it, you know, with the shower and the toilet and all of that. So I kind of think that's kind of my thought process on that. Okay, we've got the bulkhead with our new recessed light installed. And back a while ago, we installed a fan. We've put this pocket door in here, so now you can see how this pocket door frame is all in there. And this, again, you know, when you do the drywall, normally I use inch and a quarter screws, inch and 5/8 drywall screws. But on these walls, you use a 1-inch screw, just so that you make sure that the screws, the drywall screws, don't come through your wood, okay? Because again, you know, I talked about that before, where you don't want the screws coming through and scratching the door, okay? And so now this side of here, I'm not drywalling that just yet. It's all ready, okay? When I get into the next phase, which is going to be sort of getting the rest of the house ready for drywall, you know, I got to do some drywall on that. Well, then I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. But I just basically have to drywall that. You know, that's all there is to that. It's all ready to go now. You know, in the process of this bathroom rebuild, we also redid this little closet. Okay, so it's ready for taping now. So yeah, that's it for now, folks. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye.